What is your view of how this case is going?
I think it's kind of becoming a circus. Where are we trying to go? Are we just trying to like tell all of these crazy stories and then that equals out to sex trafficking? I mean, it's starting to become outrageous. It's a Rico case. It's really only Diddy and maybe one other person. Like, I'm just starting to feel uncomfortable and I'm starting to feel weird about this whole thing.
Well, it was certainly interesting last week when I interviewed this guy who had the pseudonym The Punisher, who was hired, and it was Cassie Ventura. Right. So it was a sort of very interesting interview because Cassie Ventura did all the negotiating, did all the payments, and did all the texting to him. Diddy would sit in the corner of a hotel room naked, and he would watch, with her apparent full consent, this guy come in and have sex with her. And it happened maybe a dozen times over a 2.5-year period. Now, none of that says to me that that is a serious crime. If she is the one that is organizing it all. Now, she is arguing it was coercion and so on. You know all these people very well. You know Cassie Ventura. You know Diddy well. When you saw that interview, maybe you saw the one that I did, but when you saw that guy talk, what was your takeaway from that?
I was just thinking, like, what year are we in? Like, it feels like we're in this vortex of, like, this dominatrix story about all of these different characters that are coming out and the names and the nicknames. And, I mean, it's intense. I think that it's entertaining for sure, and it's definitely press-worthy. But at the end of it all, it's like, this is what Diddy is being charged for, and this is what he possibly might serve a lot of jail time for. I don't understand it, and I really want to know where this is all gonna go and where does this lead? Because again, it's weird, it's freaky. Like the whole oral thing with the 19 guys and the blisters. I mean, it feels like they're just trying to paint these pictures of Diddy. And I was around Diddy all the way pretty much up until the arrest. And all I got from that when I hung out with Diddy, and this is word to my mom and kids, he's always inspired me to be great. When I left, I felt like I could do more for my business. I felt like I had more power because I wanted to be more vocal in running my companies and call my wife if we were getting into it and send her flowers. I mean, these are all the things he was instilling to me and all of the young guys around that were inspired and you know, look at him as a mentor. So now these private things that happen when we were around and never even got a chance to see this kind of crazy stuff, it just sounds like this was a private, personal thing that was happening, and now it's starting to become just, it's diabolical. I mean, if that's the right word, it's chilling and it's scary for a lot of people out there in this business like us who are trying to walk the right path and connect with the right people when there's things that you do when you make bad mistakes. But this is like an overflow of just complete negativity. So
it sounds to me, unless I'm wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you think that there's been a massive overreach here. This is personal behavior between Diddy and Cassie Ventura that we've seen so far, that it doesn't cross the line from where you sit into serious crime under the Rico law, which of course was, you know, intended for mafia members and so on. Do you think that's what we're witnessing here with this case, that this was consensual? It may be freaky, it may be sexually deviant, it may be all these things, but it was apparently consensual behavior and not a crime.
I agree, and there's things that you know, we saw in these videos, they were disturbing, and that's not okay, right? But looking at the crimes that he's being charged for, this is where it starts to go overboard, and it's like whoever was mad at the top was really mad, and I think we're here now, and I think it's a flex because, like, what are they trying to get out of this in this court case? Does everybody that's talking about these stories, do they want to see Puffy rot in jail? Is that what we're here for? Because I just think that that's unfair, and just knowing everybody, it just could have been done a different way, and now it's starting to worry me, and I honestly think that Diddy will get out, And I think that there's nothing here, right? I think they made their point, whatever they were trying to make. Your point is made. Now let Diddy out. Free Diddy.
Wow, you think he's going to walk?
I think so. And I personally think it's going to happen faster than a lot of people think, because I think we're all starting to see what this is. Even if you're on the other side of it, I mean, you know, the justice system is the justice system. Where does this fit in right as opposed to right and wrong? It's off. And I don't like it.
Here's my problem.
And I want to be vocal.
Right. So I've met Diddy a couple of times at social functions many years ago. And he was perfectly polite and nice to me, and we had a perfectly civilized conversation. One was an Oscars party, one was an event in London. I have to say, when I watched the video that was leaked of him attacking Cassie Ventura in that hotel corridor, I did think then, well, you're not the person I thought I knew from everything I'd read and heard. You're a very violent person, capable of beating up a woman. That is despicable. And if you're capable of that, and that's just what we saw on a CCTV bit of footage by chance, then what else are you capable of? What do you say to people like me who looked at that and go, well, this guy is a vicious, nasty piece of work?
Listen, I was very hurt when I saw the video. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I was very disappointed, and I still am. And my heart goes out to Cassie for me just watching that, right? It's not okay. And there's nothing about that was okay. And I can't say but after that, because that's just what that is. And I feel the same way you feel. But on the top of what we're doing now, and even with the tape being altered, I heard, and they're not gonna be able to use it probably in court because it was altered before it was put out, that puts a spin on it. It doesn't put the spin on what he did. But the altered tape, that as opposed to sex trafficking and a Rico, and now it's in this mafia setting, it just doesn't, they don't go together. If he was charged for something else that maybe had fit what we saw, we all kind of would understand what's going on.
Right.
But the charges and what's being done, it's not okay.
I don't disagree with you. I think a lot of the stuff coming out is quite baffling in the sense of it all appears on the face of it to be pretty consensual, albeit stuff that most people may not want to engage in. You know, I felt that when I interviewed that guy, the Punisher. I thought he was a very credible witness and a very credible interviewee, actually. When did you last talk to Diddy yourself?
Wow. I spoke to Diddy maybe a week and a half before it all went down. And we didn't talk long because, again, like, I love Diddy and I love the family. And when I was vocal about what happened, I guess they didn't take it as if I was supporting. And so the family and I kind of got, you know, on the wrong page. But if you really look at what I was saying and what I'm saying now, is that stories are being created, and it's starting to feel like it's the world against Diddy. And I feel for him, you know what I mean? And I'm actually worried about him in this state now, because it's a dangerous world. And we're just seeing a lot of things unfold and power being played. And it's a circus act. I mean, how many more stories do we gotta hear? I mean, this is some really freaky stuff that I think should be kept private, and it's just starting to get freakier and dirtier, and you know, you could just smell it in the room, and it's just not okay.
Did you ever attend the freak-offs, these infamous freak-offs?
Well, I attended a lot of parties with Diddy, but there was never a freak-off. Like, even the word freak-offs, right? We've never used that term whenever we went to a Diddy party. A Diddy party was where most people couldn't get in, and the top of the top, the A-listers, are out on the scene, and if you don't have the proper invitation, or if you're not one of the who's of Hollywood, it's impossible to get in. Whatever door they're talking about, the freaky door, I never got an invitation, never knew it existed. And I feel like in my world that I'm in, and I like to party and have fun, at least I would have got an invitation.
There were two things, Ray J, that happened to you in close proximity I wanted to talk to you about. One was in October 2024. You've alluded to a bit of a falling out with Diddy's family. You got into a fight with Diddy's sons, Christian, Quincy, and Justin outside a Halloween party. They were upset, it was reported, about comments you'd made about their father. What can you tell me about that?
It got a little intense. They approached me a couple times about just seeing me in a couple of the interviews I did. So this was the third time that they approached me, and so this time I was more aggressive and more defensive. The first two times I kind of just let it go because I understand it's your dad and you feel a certain way. But the third time is where I kind of like went left, and we kind of all had this really intense kind of like scuffle. But again, like I walked away, and I think they were just trying to make their point, as any sons would, But luckily, Chris was there to stop it, and then we were able to get on the phone and talk about it as men and come to an understanding. But it was intense, and it's mind-blowing because, I'm older, so it's like there's no way I'm gonna actually physically try to fight you guys. I've been knowing you guys since you guys were little. What are we doing? It's just, I left that night just feeling really awkward, and again, you always gotta be the bigger person, especially when you're the older person, so I hope I handled it correctly moving forward.
And Ray J, what was it you'd said about Diddy they particularly took objection to?
I think that they thought that when I said certain comments like asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain, certain things I said went extremely viral, and I think they might have taken it out of context. So it happened like that. And most of the interviews I was doing were going extremely viral. And so I think they looked at it wrong. Looking at it now, I think they understand my point, and they knew I wasn't trying to take shots at Diddy. That's the last thing I would do, is do that. I just wanted to make sure that people knew how I felt, because that was the first few times I seen the video of him and Cassie. So at that point, I was still charged and upset. But now, as we let this thing kind of play out and where we are today, there's a lot of glitches in the system, and I just think that we need to just chill. We need to let Puffy go, and this needs to be put to bed, and they need to just work their differences out privately, even now, and just move on. Like we all just had enough.
In November the 12th, 2024, you went on Instagram on your stories to say you'd survived an alleged shooting. Let's take a look at what you said.
It's just tried to shoot me and tried to kill me. And you want me to apologize to you?
You said they tried to kill me and you want me to apologize. Fuck you. What happened there?
That was a tough day. I really don't want to talk about that day too much because I don't want that day to happen again. And I was able to just kind of figure out what it is and what it was. And so for me, just for everybody's safety and for just having the information and just keeping it to myself, it's just better for my safety. But it was something that I don't wish on nobody, but just for my safety and just for everything that happened, I just don't want to talk about it because I don't want to relive it again or bring that kind of heat back up and then it's happening again.
Sure, but just to be clear, did somebody actually shoot at you?
Oh, no. They didn't shoot me. It was at my truck. And when I was trying to stay in one place and let it die down, the place I was in made me leave and go right back out into the action. And that's when I was being vocal about it because I really needed to lay low. They didn't want me there anymore, so they kind of just pushed me out right back into the situation. And it's unfortunate because I don't want to be in that kind of situation, and I don't even want to have that kind of vibe around me. And that's when I just started doing my news show. And doing news is just a different kind of business, and it brings about so many people that you didn't know even existed, and it got a little scary. And so that's why I kind of calmed down from doing my news show, which I'm gonna start it back up. It just got a little hot in the kitchen, and it just wasn't worth it, and it wasn't worth, I got kids, and the schools are tripping, and the parents, and I just needed to have peace. And it's crazy when you have an opinion and when you believe in things and you do news. So, I mean, I know your job is probably super tough, and I'm sure people are mad all the time from so many different ways, so many different countries. So I respect what you do, and hats off, man, because it's definitely a dangerous business.
But I'm just trying to get in my head right. When you said they tried to kill me, who tried to kill you?
See, that's something that I don't want to get into, because again, if I do, now I'm back to the beginning of where we were. And so for me, I made promises. We cleared the air on certain things in Los Angeles, and everything is good now. So I just want to leave it at that. Just to be on a positive
Some
note.
people, Ray J, as you know, some people were connecting what they thought were dots here. You had a massive altercation with Diddy's sons, and then several weeks later, someone tries to kill you. People think that maybe Diddy has something to do with what happened. Can you say that either way?
I know for sure that that's not what that was. And again, you know, he's locked up and he's going through his own issues. You know, I don't think he's worried about me at that level. But again, it is something that you don't want to experience and you don't want to kind of relive. You kind of want to keep a clean slate. And I'm learning as I go on how loud I can go and how much information I can give and how much information I can't. And I'm learning through the process, and that was definitely an eye-opener.
Ray J, in the TMZ documentary, The Downfall of Diddy, you said that multiple high-profile celebrities were paying alleged victims to keep their names out of the scandal. You didn't name anyone, but do you still believe that to be the case?
Yeah, I mean, I believe a lot of things are going on behind the scenes like that. And I said that just from experience of just my own life and how it goes when information is important and it shouldn't be leaked or put out, and this is what we'll give you or this is what we'll do to you. It's like an either or kind of thing. Yeah, I think that's happening every day. And it seems like it's like a movie and then people just talk about it and it's like just conversation, but it's real and it's scary and it's uncomfortable at times, you know, but I think everything comes out when it's supposed to come out in the light, and sometimes people will do anything for it not to come out. Anything.
Yeah, that is
Some
true.
of your favorite stars that you love and you look up to, you know, some people that people adore. Sometimes the other side is much darker than